Chris C. Homestead. How the heck are you today? I hope this is fine and you just having a wonderful week. And I hope you had a good weekend. Got the chickens out free ranging. Yeah, and they think I'm talking to them, so they come in close. Oh, pains in the tush sometimes. But anyway, for you folks that have seen that Rich bought a truck video, got you, huh? Yeah, I should have known better. Okay. Uh, you know, in my older years, I've gotten so tight I squeak. And there's a reason for that. Because, while you may have the cash to go out and get big and fancy, as sure as you go spend your cash on silly stuff like that, suddenly you're going to find an opportunity to double your money or whatever, and you're not going to have the money to get into it, okay? Keep that in mind. So you hang on to your money for important things, not silly stuff, okay? A truck, a tractor, things of this nature, those are tools, folks, tools, okay? On a homestead, that's all they are. They're just tools. They're like a hammer, okay? So, would you go out and pay for a hammer that you needed to use to drive some nails and be willing to spend, 10 times as much because it has a fancy paint job and maybe some pinstriping on the handle and leather grips? If you do, stay in the city. Because you're in for a tough road to hoe here, buddy. I'll tell you that right now. See what I'm saying? It's a tool. So if you're driving around one of these big jacked up 4x4s like I had on that front cover, you need to, I'm talking about being a homesteader, you need to take about 15 steps back, okay, and really evaluate what your priorities are. Now, don't get me wrong. I know people. One fella down here that I'm friends with, he run into a deal where he got involved in a absolute insane lease situation with a solar company. They're paying him phenomenal rates for a few acres on lease, just phenomenal. And he went out and built himself a new house on his place, and he's driving a big fancy truck he paid cash for. Okay. The lease check came in, and he wrote the check, and he knows that this is all temporary. Okay, so at least he goes into what I've had every rooster in the place suddenly come into the barn because they heard me talking. Yeah. Gotta love them. But anyway, yeah, I let the breeding roosters out and let them free range. And instead of being out in the sunshine looking for bugs, no, they're in the barn thinking I'm going to do something for them because I'm sitting here talking to y'all. And chickens, roosters especially, they are noisy creatures. If you got one, maybe two on your place, it's not too bad. Anything over two, and let the crowing contest begin, okay? Because one will not be outcrowed by the other. And so they all are practicing. Anyway, so keep that kind of stuff in mind. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. All right? I can afford that payment. Yeah? Well, you can also live a little better without it. Kind of keep that in mind. And opportunities want to slip up and surprise us sometimes where, wow, if I had, $15,000, I could buy this, let's say a small herd of cattle and just take them right down to the auction and make myself $5,000. Well, friend, if you're driving a big fancy jacked up truck or have credit card bills up to your eyeballs and things of this nature, you don't have that money to buy the herd to start with. and you just passed up on making $5,000. See what I'm saying? So, our tornado comes through to tear down some of your infrastructure. You're going to replace it. You're going to do it quick because, it's something you got to have. You need the money to do that. Cash is king. They don't charge you interest on it yet. And you don't have to worry about them coming for your stuff if you don't make a payment on your cash. So try to use your heads. That was the whole point of that. Use your heads. Yeah, you're not going to be out showing off. Okay? And if you're truly serious about being a homesteader, first thing you do is get some of those crow collars. I do believe I need about a dozen of them. Somebody got some laying around cheap. I might be willing to talk to you about it. These guys are just... Now you see why I'm over in the garage a lot, okay? Anyway, what I was trying to show you young folk is you don't need all that stuff. You really don't. Next thing I want to talk about is I've seen out there where a lot of people are talking about the tiny houses versus regular houses. Yada. Yeah. Okay. Throw my 2 cents in. Right after I kill this rooster. Seriously. He's about this close. Here's the thing. If you're single, or a young couple, or even a retired couple, I'm going to bash you right in the noodle with something. Go on. And the sad part is he knows I won't do it. It's an idle, an empty threat, and he knows it. He kind of looks at me like, yeah, right. But if you're a couple, single person, something like that, tiny house could work for you. If you're a young couple who ever plan to have children, or children become on the horizon, not a good idea. Tiny houses, small cabins, tiny houses, they're okay for a weekend with family. Past that, it becomes not fun. Okay. And it puts extra stresses, and believe me, homesteading with its own stresses. Like when this rooster will not cooperate, just standing right here. I mean, he's standing right here looking right at me, crowing his tush off. Anyway, tiny house works. Like me, if I was to start all over again with just me, let's say, I'd do something like a tiny house. The only thing I need is a warm place to sleep and some place to fix some food and take a shower, and I'm good. Okay. Maybe a little spot to sit up the computer and stuff. Watch a movie about culling chickens. I'm really getting in the mood for this boy. He's a beautiful rooster, big Americana fella, but he is a spoiled brat, period. There's a place for the tiny houses. I've heard people talking about, it's like the original pioneers did. Well, yeah, true. Let's look at that for a second. Let's use TV shows. The Little House on the Prairie. That whole family crammed into a 2-3 bedroom cabin, or 2-3 room cabin. All that. That's what people did. You went out on your homestead. You took the materials available and what you could bring along, and you built a cabin to live in, so that you didn't freeze to death that winter. After that, you worked on your homestead. Okay, a lot of these people didn't have anything but dirt floors, so it was a temporary living situation. Let's fast forward to successful. Okay, old Ben Cartwright on Ponderosa, he was successful at his homestead, at his ranch. All right. Was he living in a little 3-bedroom cabin? Oh, Ben had himself a house, man, and a big one to boot. You know what I'm saying? And that's what people did. They started out in cabins and built their homesteads, got that up and running, used that money So if you're planning family, all right, better plan house. Okay, because not only will it drive your children crazy, but in turn, your children will drive you crazy if you're crammed into a little tiny house. Nobody's going to rest right. It's a mess. If you're single by yourself or a couple, whether young or old, and there's not children involved, then you're good to go. Okay. You might consider an extra little cabin in case friends and neighbors, drop by to spend the weekend, so that you're not all piled in on top of each other. But yeah, if I had to do over, I'd do that. 'Cause like I said, all I need is a warm place to sleep, someplace to fix some food, and watch maybe a movie now and again, and take a shower. I'd be good. I'd be good. I wouldn't need anything more than that, and it'd be kind of nice not having to clean it all up too. So, yeah, a little place off grid, would be cool. So, yeah, there's a lot of perks to it. So you have to evaluate the entire situation, and trust me, tiny houses and children add more stress to. Almost bad as a crowing rooster in your ear all day long. Imagine that, right? Kids that put stresses on them too. So, use your head. All right. So that's enough for the tiny houses. Okay, not good for families or people who entertain a lot. Okay. So you want to keep, just kind of keep that in mind. If you're kind of like an old hermit out in the woods somewhere, tiny house is fine. All right, I know guys that around here that after the hunters got frustrated, after they built a cabin and all kinds of stuff out there, put it up for sale and they'll buy it and live in the cabins. Seriously, a little hunting cabin. So yeah, it's doable. But like I said, take a hard look at life in general. And if you're talking children in your future, if you have children, not a good idea. It'd be something very short term while you're building a home. And you need to have means to build the home. Okay, don't go sit this thing up and go, now when we save up the money to build a house, y'all will be insane long before then. Okay? And probably frustrated and, walking away. Don't do it. I have been hitting a lot on the financials, and I'm going to touch on this for just a bit. Debt is slavery. You hear a lot of people say that. And if you think about it for 30 seconds, if you're up to your eyeballs in debt, you're going to go to work for the man for 8 to 10 hours a day. They're going to hand you a paycheck that you're going to hand back to the man. And you might be saving a few bucks along the way, but virtually, you look at your savings and go, that's what I earned for this little guy is just really going to press my buttons here in a minute. You're really working for the man. You're a slave. Okay? You got your 3 hots and a cot, and you're out on the job every day. Okay? That's not freedom, my friend. That is not freedom. And life is not free. Okay? I mean, God himself says you're gonna earn your bread by the sweat of your brow. All right? So you answer to the man. But I kind of prefer just answering to that man, not these other clowns. So keep that in mind. If you're young, you got a bunch of debt, the whole mission in your life right now should be get rid of every penny of it in debt. And reduce your cost of living down to where you got money. Real live cash money. And you save that money. If you want to be a homesteader, you save every penny you can. When you get the money to buy the land you're looking for, buy it. And then continue working hard and hanging on to every dime. Build your infrastructure. Okay. The the more you can do while you're still working that job, better off you are. Okay. It is tough to be living on a homestead under construction and working a job at the same time. It really is. And no sense putting yourself through it. And if you're paying cash, you don't have to. Okay? You don't have to give up one. You can continue to live and take every penny you have and dump back into that homestead. And when that homestead is ready for you, then you can make the transition. Short of that, folks, you're it's a stressful life in some sense because you have a lot on your plate and it doesn't stop. It just keeps on coming. And if you're not sleeping well or you don't have a decent place to relax and prepare meals and things of this nature, it adds more stress. Okay? No point in doing all that. Use your head. Put together a lot of cash and make a dream come true. And you're not going to do that running around with a truckload of bills. So cut it out. And that's my hope for you if you're really serious about this life. So don't delude yourself. Cash is king when it comes to homesteading. And you got to use your head. All right. Things went long enough. This Rich Tennessee Homestead, I really love and appreciate you guys. And please, sit down and really look hard. Can you get a homestead on the cheap? Yeah, you can. And be happy to help you out in any way I can as far as giving you advice on that. But there's a lot of ways to buy a piece of land. All right? So get about it. Get it done. You're not getting any younger. Get moving. Have a great day. Talk to you later.